senators who had otherwise taken a very intransigent position or standing with governors to ask for 400 billion. And I must thank them for eventually seeing the light and appreciating that as much as we are all desirous of giving even beyond 400 billion shillings to our counties, those resources are not there. And since we all live in this country, we know what happened with the loss of the finance bill. The projected revenues, as at the time the first division of revenue bill was being done, are not the same today. They had to be reviewed downwards because of the loss of the finance bill 2024. Honorable Speaker, in that give and take spirit, the Senate, together with the Council of Governors, I know they may not be very satisfied with this figure of 387.425 billion shillings going to the counties, but a great improvement, Honorable Speaker. This now constitutes 24.67%, almost 25% of the last audited accounts, I think, of the year 2021, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, it tells you that progressively the money going to our county governments is increasing every year. And indeed, it was the spirit of this House and the government to give our counties 400 billion shillings. You remember, Honorable Speaker, in the year 2020-2021, we had a similar significant increase in the shareable revenue going to our counties. And in one particular year, we increased the county shareable revenue by 50 billion shillings. But that, Honorable Speaker, was on the understanding between us, following a mediation process again with the Senate and an agreement with the Council of Governors, that they would then cede ground on the question of the revenue coming from the fuel levy fund. It's sad, Honorable Speaker, that our governors and the Council of Governors is now reneging on that very good gentleman's agreement and pitting ourselves against them. Honorable Speaker, the money that goes to the constituencies for fuel levy, at the time we increased by over 50 billion shillings the shareable revenue, was on the understanding that most of that money would be going towards rehabilitation and maintenance of roads at the county level. Today, Honorable Speaker, and I don't know whether I will speak for Kiambu County or it is indeed the case in all our counties, county roads are not being done at all. Members of the public have become accustomed now that they can only go to their women rep or their member of parliament to get a road fixed, even roads that are not under the purview of members of parliament or the constituency roads committee. Honorable Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to beseech the Council of Governors, and I know they have new leadership now, to drop the cases in court. Those cases are not helping them. They are not helping the country. They are simply holding services and the maintenance and rehabilitation of roads around the country at ransom because governors want more money. And this insatiable thirst for resources, Honorable Speaker, should come with service delivery. My problem with many of our governors is that the resources that go to the counties don't commensurate with the services being given to the people. Around the country, and it is not lost on us, Honorable Speaker, that even the NGCDF matters, the Council of Governors had a huge role to play even in the courts. And we know who are the sponsors of the people who are in court on the NGCDF matter. You can see the nexus between even the advocates that represent the parties in court on the NGCDF matter and those that represent the Council of Governors in other matters. This is not how to expend public resources. Institutions of the same government, same country, taking each other to court. And I really want to plead with governors. Since the mediation committee of the National Assembly went into this mediation process with clean hands and in good faith, mediated in good faith, and even has ceded to resources that the chairman of the Budget and Appropriation Committee can tell you, these resources are not there. We are only hoping that with the anticipated passage of the tax and business laws, we may be able to get a bit of more resources to be able to cater for this. And Honorable Speaker, in that give and take, could we plead with our Council of Governors to please cease the litigation matters in court, especially around the fuel levy money that goes to Kera and Kura. These national agencies maintain roads around the country. I have seen, for instance, the last 2 weeks, Citizen TV has been very keen on highlighting how dilapidated roads are in Nairobi County. And I saw the governor of Nairobi saying, for instance, Jogoo Road doesn't belong to me, it belongs to the national government. Fact, it does belong to the national government. That is why you will see in advertisements today from Kura, out of the money coming from the fuel levy fund, Jogoo Road has been advertised for rehabilitation. The president was in a church the other Sunday in Soweto, in Embakasi East constituency, represented by Honorable Babu Owino. And when the president set foot in that church, all that the church leaders and residents of Soweto could tell him is about the state of a road that is so dilapidated that was done 3 years ago under the Kenya Informal Settlements Program funded by the World Bank. But now it's so dilapidated that you have to wade through pools of water even to get to that church in Soweto. And you know the church has become very famous for other reasons, Honorable Speaker, that church. But I can also confirm that money has not found its way back to the president. And I have a long list of other churches that are waiting for that money to get back to the president so that it can be donated to the other churches that are waiting. But besides the money and service to God and humanity that the president engaged in, he did promise the people of Soweto that that road will be rehabilitated. The money rehabilitating that road by Kura is coming from the fuel levy. Honorable Speaker, I do not need to belabor this, but I really want to take this opportunity to request the Council of Governors to also adopt the give and take attitude that the two houses of parliament have adopted in this mediation process. Give in on the fuel levy, and we will support you in everything else you want to do. But please, stop pitting yourselves in a fight with members of parliament. These members of parliament have no business to do with the roads. And with all due respect to the former Prime Minister, I know he had his view, and I have engaged him on it, because these members of parliament are the first point of call by their constituents when roads are dilapidated in their constituencies. Governors are never seen anywhere. I had a case in one of the counties where an MP neighbors a governor. The governor has 7 AP officers guarding his residence. The MP has none. And everybody flocks to the members of parliament's office on healthcare, food, funerals, hospital bills, roads. Nobody ever goes near the governor's residence. Because I don't want to say they have elevated themselves to be small gods or anything, Honorable Speaker. But they need to open up, be accessible to their people. These members of parliament are elected the same way governors are elected. And therefore, they cannot bear an unequal share of the burden of the people's problems than governors. And when these members of parliament are supervising the work that is being done by the CRC committees, because these members of parliament are not members of the CRC committees. They do not participate in the implementation of projects. What they do is offer meaningful oversight to ensure that at least the national government roads at the constituency level are being rehabilitated. They're in good condition, Honorable Speaker. Now, if we sacrifice all this money to go to the governors, these 387 billion, ask Kenyans next year where this money, they will have seen any work from this money. And ask Kenyans whether they will have seen the billions that have gone through CDF. Kenyans will only tell you the money that they see from NGCDF, not from this shareable revenue. But I beg to support and second this motion for agreement on the mediated version of the Division of Revenue Bill, And hopefully the other house in the Senate will be able now to start, upon passage of this one, to start with Kara, and we are able to pass it before we proceed on recess. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second.
Honorable members.